shining like a beacon of bright stars. I was in a lifeboat wandering far until I found the lighthouse, guiding me out the
Welcome to LXC.
And the ranks rise up, League of Legends pride. Amateurs unite in LXC lights. Crusader League we fight, champions by our side. Emerald dreams ignite our night. LXC we play, Emerald all the way. Victory in sight, shining in the night.
What also is concerning is the fact that Rutenium is a little bit out of position here in the topside river. The collateral or the hostile takeover is going to come out, but the apprehend is there to bring the Renata back in. The bailout though, oh, and the reset come through. Absolutely massive collapse there from the entirety of the Interbots. They take down 3, and the Rift Herald will be there.
Trading back some of these backline carries, these fights should become a little bit more winnable. But if you're just going to keep trading one,
Nox is just going to jump in there with the shield fall, but down the Pandown's going to have a tough time getting out. The side of the Poison Panthers just set up the battle line beautifully. The shutdown already going over onto the enemy top lane, and look at Freshburger just flashing in there, taking some heads. The charm's going to land on the Alves. That's going to be the 4-0 team fight, and that should be game number 1 for the Poison Panthers. Boomerang blade over the wall, not quite enough. Rutenium able to flash away back underneath the tier 1. Will barely survive.
2 with a 700 gold shutdown. He's worth a lot of money if you can find it. Freshburger gets caught by the cask.
Oh yeah, the Mordekaiser are going to be forced to use the Death Realm quite early here. It does have the Vel'Koz trapped in there trying to take down Zelda guy. The passive is going to get the job done. It's a maxed out shutdown, in fact, for Freshburger. And now Clay is in the Cataclysm, but who's trapped in there with who? As that's going to be the Varus gets taken down by Chinese Spy, and now it's only Noxus and Rutenium.
Champions rise in the night. Power flows through neon light. Summoner's Rift, we take the dive. In the LXC we come alive. We strategize 5 on 5. Pushing lanes, we've got the drive. Nexus falls, it's all a race. In the LXC we find our place. Feel the beat of death.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to LXC Splinter Season 2 Winter Split Crusader Play-ins. We're not quite technically in playoffs yet, but we're really close. This is our last week of best of 3. And right now, we're watching No Interbots versus Pandora Panda Fighters. I'm here as Scarlet with Launches today to cast. Hello, Launches. How are you doing?
Hello. Doing pretty well. I think this game's gonna be, of course, really fun. Really interesting to see how Interbots kind of went at the start of this split here as the second in line, right behind their brothers in arms of NO Phoenix. But here, dropping all the way down to fourth or third here. Actually, no, fourth place to be right on the cusp of making it win the play-ins here. So kind of their fall from grace, but will they be able to kind of bring it back and make it to the playoffs and be able to maybe go against their brother in arms in that final game of the playoffs? So we'll have to see here.
Yeah, because if they win, then they're on the opposite side of bracket of No Phoenix, right? So they would literally meet each other in the finals, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they would. Okay, let me see if I understand this correctly. Bracket's kind of interesting, but yes, they basically be on the opposite side of the bracket. So that would be like the best case scenario in a way if they win, right? Like, you don't want to
Mhm.
fight your sister organization until you're fighting for first and second. That'd be nice. Oh yeah, it would
But
be on the finals. Yeah. So
there are a lot of people blocking their path to get to that final. So
for sure. Well, speaking of people blocking their path, we are going to be talking about PPF, which is Pandora Panda Fighters, and they get banned first because they're on blue side. No Inters chose red side, and the first ban is Rumble.
I actually like this Rumble ban, right? We've been seeing more lately that Rumble in the jungle, right? So that flex pick that comes out for that top jungle pick is just really strong, right? Having his equalizer on the pick. Oh my gosh, they did it. They banned Mel, a
Oh,
team
but
that
they
actually knows the power of Mel. Oh my god.
right. But they didn't ban something that you mentioned before broadcast, which is the Morgana, and we've been seeing owls play that a lot for no enters. So
They banned Mel.
PBF got a nice blind pick. Yeah, Mel is a nice ban though. I do agree that more teams should be picking that up.
I have been an advocate of Mel for so long. When she first came out, that Mel is super powerful. Ban her or pick her first pick, because her oppressiveness of being able to poke so far away in their turret, being able to poke almost in the middle of mid lane, right? It's so powerful. But these
I also
teams
think
finally
I also
did
think
it.
it's really good to ban Mel if you're gonna first pick Ashe, because obviously you can try to play around Mel W, but it's so much easier to not have to deal with that. So
Hmm.
take Ashe, get rid of Mel. But I do believe that Morgana's pretty good into that too. So I wouldn't be surprised if our Morgana was an early rotation here. I don't think that it has very many counters, and you might not be putting it bot lane against Ashe, but it still does pretty well into that arrow.
Hmm.
However, it looks like Alps is changing it up because I don't think that Jarvan is flexing anywhere else.
Yeah, actually, that driving pick is not too bad though, right? Being able to jump in, get onto that Ash, make sure that she has to flash out of the Cataclysm if that does come out. So I actually think that's a really good pick here. But if we want to look at going back to the bans here, we did see that Belveth ban for the side of Pandora, right? Not wanting to have too many dashes, and of course that infinite scaling with her ultimate, but also saying that Viego, Jinx, and Hui going down as well. Pretty oppressive picks in their relative lanes, right? So it's always really strong. But actually having the misfortune come out here for um, Interbots.
Interesting because I do like Misfortune Jarvan. It's a nice combo. And it can punish the Ashe in a lot of ways, but I do feel like Misfortune has fallen off a little bit. So you also have the Braum available. Ashe Braum,
Hmm.
already a pretty good combo, counters the Misfortune immensely. Then we can pick up the Zenzel to also have our own early game pressure. And I feel like no enters have got to shift around the narrative of this draft pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say I would love to see a Braum pick here, right? Because Ash Braum's just super repressive early game there with that quick auto attacks being able to come in there after Braum gets his passive down, and of course we
Oh,
do
that's
see that
a Zyra support, I believe.
that will be a Zyra support, which is going to be very annoying, right? Because you have the plan to come in, the poke that Zyra can kind of provide, especially as soon as she gets Leandri's, it's just super strong. But we do see that classic Zinzel Jarvan kind of trade off there. We do see that a lot in pro play recently. So Zinzel's really kind of showing back in that meta, right? Being able to have that dash in when becomes lightning knockups, and of course the ultimate being able to push everyone away. Because that's pretty good to counter misfortune, right? Get onto the misfortune, push her away with the ultimate, cancels the ultimate instantly. And she's kind of a sitting duck at that point.
Now, no enters have a lot to pick up here in their solo lanes, I feel like. They've got to both figure out a good blind pick and also consolidate their team into this obviously team fight oriented comp. They're going to ban both solo lanes out a little bit, or actually, yeah, because those technically
Both
could be
lanes.
junglers, but Zin's showing, so that's definitely both solo lanes.
Hmm.
Um, PPF is going to start banning out top laners. I think they assume that the counter pick will be safe for top if they ban another top laner here because you wouldn't blind pick Jax most likely. We'll see what
Hmm.
other ban they go for. Um,
Yeah, I mean, coming here, we'll still have that mid lane prio, right? We could see something like that. Like I said, the sign might come out, but we might see something maybe like that or that Silas pickup, right, for that ultimate, right? Being able to have that Jarvan
let's see if they're
ultimate, the Misfortune ultimate. Hmm.
right on the blind pick though. If no enters wants to blind pick mid lane and save top counter pick.
Yeah, because if mid lane's here, I wouldn't really suggest that Silas pickup as much, right? You do have the Ashe ult for the Ashe ult and Zinzao. It's kind of good, but it's not as good. But it looks like they're just gonna go for that Ari there, of course, has the really great mobility from her ultimate. And of course, getting a good charm on Dash makes it so she really can't do much. So it's actually a really good pickup here, I would say, from Interbots here. And let's see what the counter is. Because again, I think Silas is pretty good, but of course, having that melee into ranged matchup is going to be a little annoying. We might see something maybe like the Vex come out, like the
Ooh.
Vagar if they want to really go for that infinite scaling, right? Because I definitely think they do need that AP mage mid lane after they did pick up that Xin Zhao for that AP AD jungle difference right there. But it looks like they pick up the Camille. So I guess I do now understand the Mordekaiser and Jax bans, right? Being able to solo out the Camille or being able to jump in right on that Camille, where then she can't really do much. So I really like those two bans that they did show there for Pandora.
But what are you going to pick into Ari? Because I feel like you want a ranged champion of some kind. Syndra makes sense, although I do feel like it's a little vulnerable to the 2v2 of Jarvan Ari. But I like it in the 1v1 for sure. So effective counter there. Now, what do we pick into Camille with this press R comp for no enters? They have to worry about the pick potential of Ashes and Camille. The 1v1 lane already looks pretty rough. Poppy, however, kind of answers everything.
Mm-hmm.
It disengages picks, it stops Camille from popping off, and it's more frontline. I actually really like the Poppy pick. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like the perfect pick, honestly.
Yeah, being able to kind of block out that driver and Camille, like you said. The thing with the Syndra is it can be good if Swedish does have the timing down, right? Because if you have the timing down, that pushback, stop that Jarvan jump in, right? Stop the Ari jump in, stop the Poppy jump in as well. So as long as you can time it just right, Syndra is kind of untouchable. But if you can't and you're just a little late, you lose your ability and you don't get to push anyone back, and you're pretty
I
dead
mean,
with that much mobility.
I think it's just gonna be every time flashes up mid jungles in the area, it's gonna be Jarvan EQ flash, you can't react, or Ari charm flash, you can't react, and then that Syndra's just dead. So I think it's really gonna come down to can they coordinate that flash timer.
Hmm.
And can Syndra, whenever she sees a Jarvan EQ in her direction, does she just flash? Because like you can't react to the flash, but you
Hmm.
can just say, "All right, you got me, I'm flashing."
Yeah, kind of having that flash out, at least as long as there's a trade of flashes, it still can be very beneficial, right?
Hmm.
Especially against that Jarvan. Of course, Jarvan has his EQ dash, but he'd still really love that flash, especially with the Cataclysm, right? Being able to come in, group everyone up. Because in this comp, being able to Jarvan ult the Ashe, Jarvan ult the Syndra, force out the flash from both of them, it's going to be really powerful, especially in those fights around the dragon, around the grubs, and all that stuff like that. So those fights are going to be really important to see if Jarvan can kind of jump in because a good Cataclysm brings up the Misfortune ult, brings up the Zyra ult. Poppy really doesn't have to do much, and pretty much just has to be the front line in this game, so that the the Misfortune Zyra Ash or Misfortune Zyra Ari don't just get one tapped by a Camille, by Syndra Ultimate, by Ashe being able to just kind of poke out everyone.
So, looks like the players will be getting into game pretty soon. And yeah, I do feel like the jungle pressure is going to be everything. Both these junglers really aren't worried about camps as much as getting on to early ganks. They both have really good CC lanes. Like, honestly, every lane has CC from both sides, which I think is very
Hmm.
unique. I don't think I've ever seen 3 lanes with CC on both sides, actually. Wow. So I feel like they honestly kind of get to dictate where they want to go, based on who they want to be ahead rather than like what's easy to gank or what objectives they want.
Hmm.
But that does open up the possibility of level 3 ganks. It opens up the possibility of counter ganks. I mean, this really is going to be dictated a lot by the junglers, I feel like. So
Hmm.
we'll have to see how Zin and Jarvan do.
I'd really love to see the grub prio on both teams, right? I think that Pandora is going to be a little easier to get those grubs right, having that Camille be able to jump in, maybe probably have a little earlier pressure, having the damage onto the Poppy. But I think that especially late game, having the Camille be able to split push, having the Ashe kind of get kind of 1-1-4 or 1-3-1, right? So the Ashe can keep hitting, get those grub procs as well. It's going to be really strong. But on Interbots, I mean, you have the Ari, you have the Poppy that can really just be wherever they want, right? And then still be able to either TP or kind of rush in to each fight, either whether that be mid lane or top lane or wherever. So having that grub prio is gonna be really important, especially with these turrets, with the turret tanking potential that these both teams have, to be able to kind of have more safety right around the objectives of for later, right, for the for later dragons, the Elder, for the Baron, if the game does go on that long.
Yeah, I don't know if the game will go on that long, honestly, though. These fights are so or these teams are so scrappy. It just feels like one of them's gonna get slightly ahead and then constantly be looking for something. And the game will just kind of be about early game into snowballing that into a victory. There's not really that much like, I mean, I guess you could say the comeback potential of having the pick comp of Ashe and Xin Zhao could be a way of coming back into it, but I do feel like this game is going to be very active very early.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it active very early it will be, but we are going to have a quick break, and then we will get onto the rift for game 1.
I've heard stories of distant lands, realms I long to reach. Your voice, it beckons me to go to worlds unexplored, to leave behind my home and wander.
Welcome back to the Rift for a Pandora Panda Fighters versus NO Interbots, which I still say is no Interbots, but you know, other people might disagree with me.
Yeah, they kind of
Either
in
way,
sometimes.
you know what? Sometimes you just need a little inting bots, okay? You know, take the pressure off, put some inting bots in there. Either
Mm-hmm.
way, they've got a little 5-stack, or not 5-stack, 5-point. Way less
5 point here.
exciting.
Yep. Now.
Which is interesting because I feel like Brahmash should like always look for something level 1, but I respect just trying to play on the merits of your leading.
Mm-hmm. Now I will say with this, you do have that new patch coming out, which kind of brings up a little new things on the Rift, like new mastery tokens or mastery looks, right? So if you see these people kind of flash their mastery, it's going to look a little different, going to look more similar to the old mastery icon looks, but still kind of
I
that red
totally
gamey
like
thing.
did not read that part of the patch notes, so I'm just
Mm.
like, wait, what?
Yeah,
So I'll have to see what you mean.
they did flash those up earlier, and also difference in chat. It was really weird. I don't got some weird, supposedly quality of life, but we'll actually see if that actually comes out. But look at the lanes, nothing too special right now, right? I think that the Ash Bomb really has to try to push their lead really early, right? Because they are so oppressive early, but if they can't. I think that Zyra Misfortune might get the better of them, and that bot lane might start pushing towards the Panda side.
Zelda's taking a lot of damage here. Nice W trade, but I do feel like a lot of those minions hit for a bit. And I feel like junglers once again could choose to go mid, but they could choose to go anywhere. They're passing towards bot lane right now. Obviously, nothing stops them from going to bot camps and then, ooh, very caution, getting level 2 first. Says 1E trade, and then a little auto attack trade with grasp. But I think this matchup is pretty normal of how it's supposed to go. So, you know, just trading back and forth grasp procs, and junglers are almost done with their first 3 camps.
Yeah, it's top lane, right? You just have that island top lane. They keep beating each other up. You have a tank plus a fighter, and both got shields, so they're gonna hit each other for a lot. But in the end, it's not gonna actually do as much. But we do see here the lane is pushing back into Swedish pancakes right here, right? Trying to get. Already just has that little better early clear, right? Having that Q be able to go through every single minion, get more damage compared to kind of that more kind of centralized damage that the Syndra does have with her balls, so isn't going to be too much, but I'm surprised not much skirmishing in this early game here.
Yeah, it does feel like both teams are aware junglers could be active pretty early, and both junglers are also going for a full clear, so it's not quite panning out that way, but I see full health bars across the board except for top lane, basically, as both junglers are finishing at around the same time. I'm wondering, Jarvan did commit the second smite, So you might expect to see him a little bit sooner. As you can see,
Mhm.
Elves walking down now, and they're just gonna go secure the crab rather than go for any gank. And I like that
Yeah,
Mike is also just recalling immediately with the bot prio of the enemy team. Says, if Jarvan's here, he's absolutely getting that crab, but I'm not gonna even try for it.
yeah, but it looks like there might be a fight here. Jarvan's going to be a little early, but it looks like Alps is just going to back up right now. Won't go for that second Krug there. Or sorry,
I expect it.
Scuttle Crab, sorry, and then just kind of so it's just a trade for one on Scuttle Crabs. Isn't too much that's going to happen right now. I mean, this game is pretty stable, right? There's not much of a CS lead on either side, maybe one or two, and I mean, this game stage, it's a little slower than I expected. I really thought, especially with that Ash Brown, that there was going to be a fight really early. But actually, here comes the Xin Zhao here on top lane.
Yeah, I think Mike. Oh, the W cancel. It gets both of them somehow. Charm misses mid lane stun doesn't for Swedish Pancake, so that trade's gonna go well. But Mike unfortunately goes for the first gank and gets completely shut down by the Poppy counterpick.
Yeah, actually, really good play there, kind of blocking off. And I think there's a little stop here, I guess. Game froze a little.
Yeah. I've also got to stop. I don't know if the stream is as well. It doesn't seem so. Looks like Poppy W stopped more than just some dashes. I believe we're gonna have to figure this out because I don't think it's gonna resolve itself unless.
I think that one
Um,
team has paused here, so trying to see if someone maybe gonna see if there maybe was some type of maybe computer issue, right? One of these
Oh, there
players had to
definitely was a
stop
computer
and
issue. I see
well,
one right now.
no, it looks to be a pause, not maybe right
Yeah,
just doesn't
gotcha.
have that jump in here
Oh
and
yeah,
that
it's true. It
overlay
was a
that
new
says
patch, right? It could be broken because of that,
hmm
but we're gonna figure that out, I guess. Production is working hard behind the scenes, you can believe. So, I mean, it's obviously 0-0. Not much to talk about for the game state. But I'm excited for first Dragon to spawn.
hmm yeah, we
Yeah,
might have a
yeah,
fight in 30 minutes, 30 seconds, maybe.
yeah. More than 30 seconds for us, most likely.
hmm But
Um,
Jarvan actually looks to be in that top jungle right now, maybe looking to go get that top lane there. See if Camille walks up a little too far after that gank from the Xin Zhao, trying to get that kill over, trying to get that first blood over to the side of Interbots, and then Xin Zhao's, because most likely Xin Zhao's not going to stay in this lane, right? He ganked, he had a failed gank. It's not really beneficial to just stay in that bush. It'd be way better to kind of maybe clear one or two of his camps and then rotate to that dragon to get that first dragon, or try to clear camps back and go for the grubs that spawn in a minute 30.
yeah, I don't know, because both of these junglers, like, obviously camps are amazing, but both of these junglers are totally fine giving up camps for tempo. Mike could even say that just getting very caution a good lane state is good enough, even if, he would have liked to get a flash. So I don't know. Obviously, Alves is gonna have a plus tempo here, up one camp already, and moving towards another camp, whenever Mike has done a gank. But I wouldn't be surprised if he uses that tempo not to farm, but instead to be in position for an objective or a gank of his own. I don't know if it's gonna be top lane though, because again, very caution on Camille has a good space after Mike came in for that gank, so
hmm
it seems unlikely that very caution would be not very cautious and run into a Jarvan gank at this time. But
There is a ward there, so they will be able to see if Jarvan does jump in on them. So
mhm,
it's not gonna be too bad, but
yeah, I just
push.
don't think Jarvan even goes for it because Alf should see that the wave is in an awkward spot. The only reason why he would come is not for a gank, but to get Might of Noxus bailed out of this lane state. And at that point, the ward doesn't matter because he's just going to show on vision and clear minions. So, I'm hoping that all this discussion is relevant, but we might have to skip forward if the spectator breaks on us. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Because it would really suck to only see 4 minutes and 30 seconds of a no kill game. I'm
hmm
also looking at this mid lane state. Obviously, the viewers can't see, but that trade did go very well for Swedish Pancakes.
hmm
And in this matchup is super important. Like Zelda guy is down on health with no health potions, while Swedish Pancakes has 2 health potions. Jarvan honestly might need to path towards mid ASAP, and I think honestly Mike might be looking here as well, because this lane state is looking really bad for Zelda guy. It's about a minute out from mid laners getting level 6. Xin Zhao could skip a camp and just come straight here, and I think Zelda guy has to flash, if not, even just dying to the flash of Mike and Swedish Pancake. So,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I have a lot more time to analyze this than the junglers actually do in mid laners, but if I was Jarvan and Xin Zhao, I would be going straight towards mid lane right now.
Yeah, and also, but I mean, with that, Zelda can see that, hey, I'm a little pushed up, low health. I should probably back here. Both the mid laners do have TP, so probably going to want to clear that waves and just kind of back, TP back into the fight, get ready for that drag, get ready for the grubs, you know, that
Right.
spawn really shortly. So, I mean, there
I
is
feel
a
like. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
there is a level discrepancy, or sorry, a item discrepancy between that Xin Zhao and the Jarvan. Right, Jarvan did be able to, because of that full clear and that first crab, was able to go, or yeah, was able to go back and grab that pickaxe, while Xin Zhao backed while only clearing, doing a full clear, so was only able to get 2 longswords. So, gonna have that little extra AD right there for Jarvan, but shouldn't be too much early game, right? I mean, you always can buy a ruby crystal, and it's the most broken first item buy in the game now, but don't
Well,
think
the funny
anything's
thing
going
is
to come
that
out of it.
well, pickaxe does obviously cost more gold. I mean, it's only 5 more AD than 2 longswords, so I don't think it's gonna be too relevant. 580. I mean, there's a
It's
joke of the 580 nerf or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and that's even base AD where it matters more. But obviously, if someone lives with a very little health after Xin Zhao ganks them, then yeah, we can say longsword difference versus um the pickaxe. But I think we've kind of analyzed this 4 minutes and a half as much as we can. I'm gonna ask our producer to take it to a break, I guess, and hope that we can get back in afterwards. So we will hopefully be back on the riff after a quick break.
I've been treading water for some time, picking up the parts of my life. Didn't get to solve it this time. How am I to break apart? Don't tell me why we can't collide. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Don't you feel? Don't you
the gravity pull and it keeps me away. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all.
All right, guys, welcome back. It's not 4 minutes and a half in anymore. We are in the middle of a fight. Poppy just died, and as you can see, a lot has changed in the last 15 minutes. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to recover anything before this period, but I mean, the game's kind of looking exciting right now. We've got a 4K gold lead for Pandora Panda Fighters. But we've got 3 dragons secured right now for no interbots. It does look like Trevor was able to secure that first dragon. For the important things, feats of strength did go over to Pandora Panda Fighters. As you can see, there's a really fed Camille. And this Misfortune does have Infinity Edge, so I think that she's still going to be a pretty big factor. So the game
Yeah.
still looks like it's in a pretty exciting state.
Yeah, but actually, because of that fight beforehand, Syndra finally got her first assist. She all she has been doing is farming, right? But because of that kill onto Zelda guy after Zelda tried to jump in onto that Syndra, was able to get that assist with the help of Aerodactyl and Mike. So gets that kill and looks like bot turret's gonna go over. And like I said beforehand, before all of this debacle, Grubs is gonna be really important for the side of Pandora, just because getting that Camille onto those side lanes, be able to take those turrets are really important. And we just saw right there, getting another turret right there. There are already 4 turrets up, compared to only 1 on the side of Innerbots. So it's pretty good. But looks like Otacon start here by Innerbots right on spawn.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Otacon is not that helpful whenever you have 0 dragons, but obviously it's still going to give quite a bit of experience as they go for this tower at the same time. Oh wait, no, sorry. Yeah, let me read this tape better. If they get this Otacon, it's huge, and it does look like they get it because that is a team with 3 dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And they also get a lot of roses to catch up on levels. As you can see, there's now only a level gap of 1 at most. And Misfortune is even 1 level higher than Ash, despite all of the different ways that the kills have gone over for team fights. Now, they probably will have to give up this dragon, because you just got Otacon. But that's going to be okay, I think. They're okay with that trade.
I would actually be a little off just because that was 2 turrets going over to the side of Pandora just for that Otacon. So right. So yeah, you get that buff, that XP buff and the adaptive force, but that's 2 turrets over. The only turrets you have on the map are in your own base. So
Mhm.
some are going to feel pretty bad, but there goes the dragon down. So there won't be a soul. There won't be a clear soul for the side of Innerbots, right? So they're really looking to kind of slow down this game, right? They're at a 6, or sorry, about almost a 6K gold deficit right here. Items again are not feeling too strong. You have that Black Cleaver kind of being able to kind of go against that Poppy's not really a tank Poppy though. It's really more of that kind of that 80 bruiser Poppy coming out, but just being 0-4 and 2 definitely doesn't feel good. Not being tanky enough to be that front line that you really need for the side of Innerbot. So I think this game, it's still on the table, right? The Pandora definitely have not kind of secured that win yet, but having all the outer turrets, right? All outer turrets, inner turrets already gone, and only having one of their own turrets being taken definitely feels good, though.
Yeah, now what this does mean is that, each additional tower is harder to get, and for the side of Interbots, they do have some easy towers to get if they go for cross map plays, but they're kind of running out of cross map plays to make because they gave up 2 towers, as you said, for that Otacon. You can't really give up any more for just a tower or 2. But if you do win a fight or a skirmish, there's some free gold on the table to get. However, before that gold's in your inventory, it gets a lot harder to win those fights. As you can see, they're even having to give up this red buff here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because they don't have any towers. And
Yeah.
also because they're down so much gold. And face checking into a Brahmin Ash is really difficult.
Yeah, I do like what they're doing right now, really going into that jungle, right? The enemy jungle, putting down that vision, as much vision as they can, kind of set up for that Baron that comes up in about a minute and a half here, right? So it's going to be really strong. It is Chemtech Soul, so I think that both teams, it's not as strong, right? But especially looking at these teams really love to skirmish, that's definitely going to be helpful, especially with the tenacity and how much CC both teams have. So it's not going to be too bad. Very cautious looks like just going to be sitting there. Does have TP, so can get into this Baron fight, but so does Zelda and Noxus. So gonna have to kind of set up for these plays, right? I think there will be a really big fight that happens in 1 minute. I think that um, Panda should be looking to jump onto this Baron right off the bat. I think they're strong enough to. Ooh,
This is a little
Aerodactyl.
aggressive from Braum. This is a really crazy ward clear. Now, getting the ult out for Flash is not necessarily the worst if they can force something while the Zyra ult is on cooldown. But I do feel like Aerodactyl is playing a little like, we're so far ahead, who cares? But he did just trade his Flash essentially for Zyra ult and that ward.
Yeah, has to back. So he's just gonna barely make it into this fight for this Baron pit. Where of course we still see Camille just kind of constantly
Oh,
pushing this bot lane here.
Zyra
Ooh.
face checking here, gets stunned up. Swedish does have the burst here, I believe, and the flash
Flashes
in place,
into the
but it
wall.
doesn't matter because I think Red Room is fine. So, getting that word, as opposed to killing the word of Braum, I feel like getting that word is important. Meanwhile, Fairy
Ooh.
Caution is getting engaged on here. Poppy has found him, but now he's disengaged and still has teleport available. As you said, Misfortune does not. So this Baron start is real. There is no Syndra ult, however, and they find Fractal again, or
Ooh.
Aerodactyl again.
Ooh, actually ult
Teleport is
onto
coming
Alv.
into the pit. That's a crazy teleport to go for. Zelda guy is also going to ult in, but the health bars are low from the Baron. Bullet time just to zone out off of Jarvan. Jarvan will go
Alv is
down
dead
here.
though.
Heck is still alive in the pit. Might of Noxus is not very tanky, so he will go down. Zelda guy also died to the side, and I believe this is a
Base in
clean
the
sweep
background.
for for Panda fighters.
I
Now,
mean,
they might not have the health bars here to go for Baron, but a clean sweep after you've gotten every single turret on the map outside of the inhibitor ones is pretty good. I think they're going to go for at least inhibitors here, if not more.
yeah, I mean, you still have 22 seconds left on the Zyra. I mean, you have 15 seconds on the Jarvan, but he has no ult, he has no flash. There's not much he can really do. So as long as you can clear it quick enough, Squigs is here, right? Being able to take these turrets really fast. They have both grubs, so they can go for it. It's gonna be a little risky, but if they really focus these turrets here, just forget about Alv. Just try to go get us. Oh, but
I don't think it
they don't have
matters. I don't
Swedish
think it
Fish,
matters
but
that Braum goes down
I don't think it
because
matters
there's just
though.
no cooldowns. These health bars are too healthy, and they should be able to take the Nexus for game one. Pandora, Panda fighters give up basically every dragon and take everything else on the map and take up a game one.
Yeah, it was actually a really good play right there. You saw that ultimate come out from the Camille to kind of block off the Jarvan from being able to jump onto the Ashe, who was just constantly hitting the turrets, right? With that grub is definitely very powerful. So game one does go over to Pandora. So gonna be pretty good game. I would saw that early game. Looked like Ash really was able to kind of step it up 2-1-7. So not really able to get those kills, but Camille really put down the gas right there, really carrying the team, being able to kind of zone out the players that she needed to, being able to kill those who she needed to as well. So a fed Camille's pretty easy game to win.
And it is nice to see whenever a team goes for 5 or 6 grubs. They got 5 that game, not that we saw. It's nice whenever it converts so cleanly into so many towers. It was every single tower taken outside of inhibitors, just one tower taken for interbots. And maybe they need to consider how exactly they're going to. I mean, maybe you're right in that the trade that we did see on the replay where they went for Otacon, which is a very powerful objective, but unfortunately the stats were not enough to make up for the huge gold deficit.
Hmm.
And they gave up so much for that Otacon on the side lane, which was their one place that they had only any towers left. So I don't know, because it's hard because Otacon's so new, right? Like I would have said the experience that you get from Otacon and the fact that you have 3 dragons that you're getting a 25% buff on, surely it's worth a little bit of gold to a team that's already got a huge gold lead. But at the end of the day, maybe that was the wrong call. I don't know.
I mean, they were kind of behind X. They were at that point. They were still behind 4K, 5K gold at that point. Yeah, you do have the buffs on that dragon, but it's just not enough. Especially again when you only have a single turret to your name, and the opposing team has 4 turrets. Goes for that. Goes for the extra, right? Goes for the Baron, or goes for the turret, right? Get another 2 turrets. Where I mean, trading maybe an outer turret, 1 or 2 outer turrets for Otacon might be worth it, but trading 2 inner turrets and now you have no turrets except inhibitor turrets definitely doesn't feel that well, especially when you're taking Otacon, and all you're getting is that Otacon.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to evaluate new things like this because I don't know. Like obviously you could do the math on paper, but how many situations are there where someone's been like, okay, what's the optimal decision whenever we've got 3 dragons and they've got a 4K gold lead and they're giving us the option to take Otacon. or sidling towers. I feel like that's never come up, at least not in coordinated play. So I understand that, like, there might be differing opinions, but it looks like the way it played out this time, it was the wrong decision. And I appreciate that they were willing to go for such a risky decision.
Yeah, when
But it
being
looks
behind, getting 4 of their members killed for nothing, right before that fight there. So really trying to go for something desperate, do lose the turrets, and it just kind of snowballed. I mean, yes, the game was kind of snowballed already, but that extra snowball that was able to get, plus that, of course, the dragon and that Baron fight going to the way of Panthers right there, or Pandora, sorry. It was just really powerful, and especially for a 5 for nothing, it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah. Well, I believe we're gonna see draft for game 2, and then we are taking steps to hopefully avoid a situation like game 1. But obviously no guarantees. But I would we're at least trying on the back end to make sure that it doesn't happen again in exactly the same way. But unfortunately, I believe the new patch has done this thing that Riot likes to do where replays aren't 100%. So we will try our best.
Really hope.
Either way, I think we're gonna get into the draft pretty soon. Yeah, both teams have said our draft. For draft, because we didn't actually talk about draft that much. I feel like we were a little discombobulated. Um, I don't know. It's hard to say because I didn't see the beginning or the main meat of that game. Obviously, it feels like the Xin Zhao probably was very effective. It
Mhm.
does feel like the Poppy counterpick did not work out, despite it feeling like it would be on paper very good into the Camille. I assume something about how the Xin Zhao interacted with it was too strong. So we see the same band so far.
Yep, that Rumble in the Jungle still being very, very powerful, right? Gonna see if Interbots want to change up one of their bans, right? Maybe ban out the Camille that was really strong, ban out that Denzao, kind of put them on a different jungler. But again, both sides look like looks like Interbots still want that red side, still want that counter. So
Same six
whatever,
bands.
same 6 bans. So will this be an Ash first pick, right? We did see that Ash first pick up, or maybe
I
they
think
kind
with
of
the
rotate to something
Meltdown,
else. But
yeah. Oh,
no, so oh, huh,
yeah. I
maybe.
don't know if Ezreal does the same thing that Ashe does. Obviously, the lane dominance is still there. At the same time, maybe they don't think they're running back to Ashe Braum because it's unlikely that no enters goes with the Misfortune. Although, I mean, there's no reason not to pick Braum just because
Mm-hmm.
Misfortune is gone if other similar things happen.
I mean, you could pick up that Braum right now, right? Kind of pick that Braum. Maybe pick up the Lucian, right? If you want more, also an early game skirmish, be able to proc that, procs
I
Braum
would like a
passes really
Braum pickup
quickly.
here.
Yeah,
Vi
looks
is
like.
another one that works similarly to the Jarvan, but maybe is a little bit more consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You can also jump on the Ashe and R button whenever she's likely to R button you and be unstoppable. And kind of layer the CC so that way you don't hurt as much. But I mean, you brought up Braum, and I just really like taking it here from No Winter, so I'm wondering if they're going to follow that advice.
Yeah, I am. Wow, for some reason in draft low, Mel's kind of as an ADC. That's a little questionable, but it looks like the Kaisa pick is going to be picked up here, right? Has that late game scaling with her passive and everything against the tanks, being able to jump in as well. Maybe dodge that Ashe ultimate if she can get in. Remember, time that ultimate really well. Get into that backline, but in response, you have the person that is pretty much the same thing. Nocturne here. You don't want to. You're just gonna have that lights out and Ari being picked up as well, kind of taking it away from Interbots as compared to last game. So
I
overall,
do
really good
like
pickup here.
I do like this adaptation if you're not going to play the Braum because you're not as sure it's going to be very good without the Misfortune, and you see Kaisa. Picking the mid laner first and saving your support for later, and taking away the one blind pick that No Enters had. Especially, whoa.
Okay, we don't see this very often. Azap would be pretty happy if this does go through.
Okay,
Oh,
that's a little bit more classic. Okay, okay.
mm-hmm,
Let's calm down here. We see an Aurora. Aurora very good at diving with Kaisa and Vi. The R button does work a lot of work. Now they're still banning the Braum. So I'm wondering if they're gonna pick something else that the Braum does well into, or if they just think Ash Braum is so good into dive that it doesn't matter if they don't have a necessarily amazing E button block. Braum is still gonna do a lot of work. Take that away. Um, so I think this dive comp from No Enters looks very good, and it looks a little bit more consistent than their last one.
mm-hmm.
I feel like Misfortune is easily interruptible, whereas Aurora Kaisa just does a lot more work, especially into something like Nocturne.
Yeah, I think this Brahm's actually really good, especially with that Nocturne pickup, right? Being able to hit the quick auto attacks like Nocturne does have, stun them up, have that fear go on right afterwards. So that's a lot of CC going down pretty quickly there. But looks like that Gwen pick ban's gonna come out same as last time for the side of Interbot and that Jax pick as well. So maybe this is more of a focus. Yeah, it looks like
Are we gonna
Vey.
see like a Rakan here or some sort of support that can be aggressive? Leona, Alistair, classic ones, Karma.
I mean, for me, I know this will never come up, but I'd love to see a Thresh. I think Thresh gameplay is pretty
Mm-hmm.
fun, right? Being able to see those hook, those lantern
Thresh would be
escapes
very
as
good
well.
here.
But probably not gonna go for it.
Nautilus.
Goes for the other
Yeah,
hook camp.
yeah, like the Thresh is like, that kind of in between, like I can help escape, I can help engage. Nautilus is like, no, I'm 100% putting my points in engage.
Hmm.
And that works really well whenever you got Kaisa Aurora. So I respect it. I think the Lantern would have been very powerful against what we see from the other side. Yet Nautilus kind of invests in what we're already doing together anyways. And I think with just Ash Nocturne showing and Ari, we're going to have to see a carry top laner again. I do like the Renata, though. It does a similar task
Hmm.
to Braum in disengaging. Also lets your divers have a little bit more safety. But I do think this top laner has to be something a little bit more carry focused, although maybe not with the Nocturne.
I think that Renato was pretty good, but I would have loved to see a Nico pick here just for
Mm-hmm.
that Nico Nocturne kind of duo right, that you can do, right? Have that invis
Oh,
come out, but it looks like Pandora steals the Poppy over, steals to a shame and says, we're gonna pilot it better than you did here. But that just means that looks like top lane. Well, the thing is, it's
can't
still
Inters
Aurora
just
is
take
still a
a
flex.
tank? Yeah, can't Inters just take a tank here? I feel like obviously Aurora could go top lane, but I
I'd
feel
love
like
to see, and I mean, I think an Ornn would be pretty good, right? Being able to level up each
Mhm.
of the items late game here, be able to have that knock up, right? Especially with that Nautilus knock up, really put them in a bouncy cap. But Nautilus top lane.
Ooh.
The Bouse is coming out. We just saw yesterday where the Bouse did play
Does this work
Nautilus
into Poppy?
against. No, he picked Poppy game one, then Nautilus game two. So Poppy.
No, no, no. I'm
So
saying, does this work into Poppy? Like,
I think that the thing is the hook does get blocked, but the thing is, can Poppy push the uh her what is it? Is it her W or E that blocks?
her W.
Okay, her W that's able to do that. So if can she push that before the Nautilus hooks? I mean, there is a little
Yes.
channel time for that Nautilus hook. So as long as Vey can actually push that button quick enough, it's not gonna be too bad. But Nautilus top lane, I mean, what was it? Two MSIs ago, it was 2023. They Caps and them really pulled out that Nautilus mid lane, and of course, recently we've been seeing that Nautilus top lane. So Nautilus been wanting to travel around the world here and kind of landed top lane here because I don't think that Rakan's going top lane. That is for sure.
I just wonder if this flex really worked out because I feel like the Rakan, would you have picked anything different? And I'm not sure that Nautilus into Poppy is going to be a great matchup, but obviously I have not had any experience with that matchup. I can confirm. So, these flexes are cute. I think it was a great idea. I'm just not sure that it's going to pay dividends unless this matchup goes way differently than it does in my head, which it very much could. I mean, it's not like I'm an expert on Nautilus top lane into Poppy.
I just don't think, and I think that Poppy pickup was not actually the best pickup here, especially when you have that Rakan, right? Being able to block that Rakan from being able to jump in. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rakan might have been a little iffy. I mean, I would have loved maybe an Enchanter here, right? Maybe have that Lulu, maybe have that Milio actually, right? Be able to push back that Ari if she decides to jump in, push back the Poppy if she decides to jump in. Same with the Nocturne as well. I think that
I
Milio
like
would have
the
been a little
Rakan
better,
until the
but
Poppy showed up. I was
yeah, I
like,
think
oh, Rakan would be great here to pick here and then save your top lane blind pick or counter pick. But once Poppy shows up, it's like, wait, let's rethink this. But I guess I
yeah.
think that Rakan is just too powerful into the Nocturne, and the Ash. So I respect it. I mean, it's a very powerful champion. Poppy can only press W once every 20 seconds or something, or 12 seconds.
Hmm.
So there's only so many dashes that she can block. So it could work out still. And it is Nautilus locked in top lane. Just in case anyone's wondering, it's not Aurora top, but it's Nautilus mid or Rakan anywhere else, obviously. So it will be Nautilus into Poppy. And we will bring that to you after a quick break.
There's a beauty in the way you're worn and the sharpness of your thorns. So vibrate in the imperfections. In the pain, there's something real. All that anger so concealed. Still, you're lost in how to feel. Just let me hold that severed heart.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Rift for Pandora Panda Fighters versus No Interbots, as No Interbots have brought the Nautilus top lane out to try to defend their chances to get into play-ins. They have to win this game and another one to do so.
Uh-oh.
But it looks like they're starting off kind of spicy with an electrocute rock. Not that spicy, I guess.
That's still a good damage. Probably want to back there by Swedish Pancakes to get back with full health. I mean, it's not going to be too bad. Minions will only spawn in about 10 seconds, so it's not like you're losing anything at Electrocute proc, but it doesn't really do much. So for now,
I did check.
nothing
There
happened.
is no mana flow banned, so I'm very sad. Every time I see a mid laner hit things, I'm like, oh, mana flow dance stack. Obviously, mana flow not that popular on Aurora, but come on, mid laners, just I want to see mana flow back stacks. They feel so good. Obviously, you know, not the right strategic choice. Just the feel goods, dopamine hits whenever you get that level 1.
Mhm.
As Nocturne, Mike is doing something
Ooh.
interesting. Gets the Q off. Now that technically will stall his clear, like technically, probably by like a few ticks. Not really. But Zelda guy is coming into this lane with, oh, so is Swedish Pancakes. It's kind of funny. With a little bit of damage.
Mhm. I don't think it's too much though for Nocturne. I mean, the thing is, they do know where he is now, so and that could be something. But I don't think these teams really. I
Okay,
think they've already been spotted. So
as someone who watched the boss play Nautilus, did he start Dark Seal?
yes,
Oh
yes,
my god.
this is the
I'm
absolute
behind
bow.
on the times.
This is the Baus pick here. They did the same thing with the first pickup
Wait, with
of
Meteor?
the Darksteel on Jax as
Or
well.
Comet, I mean, sorry.
I think so as well. This is just ooh, actually good dodge.
That's a really awkward miss because now Squigs gets to open up a little bit with Renata getting the Q as well. Runeternium,
Ooh.
level 2 proc as well, has the flash and still dies. And it's just awkward timing for Rakan whenever he only has to go in the button first, misses it, and then cannot walk out before Squigs gets level 2. This bot lane is going to be hemorrhaging,
Whoa!
especially with
Great
these
play.
Renata Qs. Aerodactyl has not missed one yet.
Yeah, it was actually a really good one right there. Kind of that handshake to bring them back right through the minions as well. It's a really good play. But I mean, look at this. Again, that top lane again. The thing is, the recommended items for a lot of these top laners have been skewed now because the Pulse of playing. Again, these Darksteel picks, the Darksteel on that Nautilus, on that Jax as well. It's kind of little weird, but you know, if they want to, I guess to each their own. But I mean, as you see here, Might of Noxus is a little low on mana here. Same about the same health as well, but
I don't know, because it's so interesting, because I feel like Poppy could put him under pressure at any time here. Refillable's not enough health regen. The level up is nice. No jungler's going to be here for a while, but look at this. You know, every 20 seconds or something, Poppy gets to be ranged for a little bit. And it looks like Mighty Noxus will have to recall. And there's a ward there too. I mean, I don't know. I know Nautilus obviously has weird power curves. As Rakan is coming here for the roam, but again misses the W, so Swedish will just walk away, even gets a little ego charm. Doesn't really mean anything, but like, you got no chance.
yeah, at least it's something. But
Flash
flash
in,
in
into
already.
the wall. There's no flash ability here for Mananoxus does, so actually gets the Q on the tower. So it will be a trade except for the passive procs because it was literally the passive auto came up. Got the kill, so it came back automatically. And Very Caution gets a very nice solo kill.
Yeah, it's starting to be a little worse. Ooh, double knockup though. Something? He doesn't get that much out of it though. But I mean, that was actually a really good play by Cautious, right? Was able to kind of jump in, get that flash into the wall. But actually, here comes Zelda guys, so they might actually be in a little. They might get
Here's
actually
the
a kill here
knockup.
though.
Root does land, but not able to get the second part because not a Zelda guy is here, has enough mana for maybe 1 Q, does get it, but there's a teleport out. It takes forever though. Squigs does make fights last forever though with this slow. Zelda guy should be able to walk out, ease as well. So it will just be a trade of Zelda guy walking down for teleport from Swedish Pancakes. It's not all bad though, because now Zelda guy gets to reset and then teleport mid. Whereas Swedish Pancakes is trying to figure out how he wants to get back to lane.
It's not too bad though for. I mean, actually, a really good play, right? Being able to extinguish the TP, extinguish the heal as well, actually from the Renata. So it's not going to feel too bad for the side of Interbots, even though they are, you know, about a 1K gold lead behind at 5 minutes, but it's not going to be too much, right? It's not going to do too much. The CS is pretty even, so really is just that, just kind of that early play that really put them behind. But I mean, it's not something you can't come back from.
While this is true, it is unfortunate to have 2 losing side lanes. Mid lane as well, I feel like could very quickly turn problematic once Swedish hits level 6.
Ooh,
And whenever Rakan is behind, obviously he can do this W in, E thing out. And, you know, there are some real roam potentials, although it's hard to roam onto an Ahri with 6. I don't know, it does feel like, yes, there are comeback potentials. I'm just not sure if it's going to be available here, as Very Caution gets another E in while level 6 W's the Q. Now, the ultimate is obviously not the greatest tool for going in. You have to be melee range and charge it for 0.1 seconds to really get anything. You know, this is still a pretty impressive wave that Very Caution has here.
mm-hmm. Also, Aerodactyl's in the air. I'm probably going to be setting up for this grubs here. So there'll be 4 members up onto this top side. Get these first couple grubs. Again, they're going to be really good, especially with the Nocturne, right? Being able to kind of ult in anywhere, so he can be anywhere all at once. So if you have someone kind of pushing alone in a lane, you still probably don't want to be jumping onto them just because the Nocturne can come out of nowhere. Doesn't grab level 6 here, so we'll have to clear a couple more camps to get that level 6, but should still feel relatively fine. And
Oh, this is a horrid wave state for Might of Noxus here, because Vey Caution can just tank the wave and get a freeze if he wants. He can also honestly just not and get a push off too with 3 grubs. You know, he's got total control here.
mm-hmm. No, even though they had that little benefit, of course, the damage from that Ahri early game, but isn't going to do too much right now, and they're pretty even. Looks like Aurora will have to back and probably TP back in. Yeah, most likely to TP back in, which is actually going to be a little detrimental, right? So now you have that stagger TP, and if a fight breaks out somewhere...
Where does Might Noxus go right now, by the way? Because this freeze is pretty difficult.
And Nocturne is level 6, but probably will just keep rotating down, right? Just going to go for those Raptors, go for the Wolves. So isn't going to be kind of helping Vague maybe get this early kill here, get that second kill over to Vay, or maybe it's a first kill onto Mike. But I mean, Vay is a little low on health, so gonna have to be a little cautious here.
Right, there is an ultimate available from from Nautilus. If you ult first, I believe Poppy has to hit W immediately, because if he doesn't, then you're just gonna Q while the ult's happening. So maybe Might of Noxus could bait out the W and then Q afterwards. But it's kind of hard because Vey Caution can really just like sack a wave at any time and just get a recall off. And once that happens, the lane's kind of over, I feel like. Although Poppy is building, I guess it's tier into, never mind, it's whatever it's called, the healing item. I don't know why I thought like, oh, tier soy sword, that's mana immune. Obviously not. Here comes the ultimate. W again has to be popped early, so you walk in. The ult is not charged fully. Might of Noxus gets a really nice Q off, and that will be a solo kill for Might of Noxus, playing it very well. Baiting out the W with the ultimate, like I said.
Was able to kind of keep Poppy off from the buckle, right? Because if she got that shield, she probably would have actually got the kill there, because she has just a little more damage there, but doesn't actually get it. So hey, at least there's 2 Darksteel stacks over to the Nautilus, so there's something to go for. But looks like Squigs and Aerodactyl just gonna kind of walk back, because they do know that Nocturne is an area, has that ultimate. They don't have vision either, so this ultimate can come out as well. Ultimate on Ashe is available, so there could be a fight here. Probably not. I think Rootgnome and Strike are gonna know that this is happening. We'll just kind of back off. So nothing too bad. Well, here comes the ultimate.
Out. Here comes the Nocturne ult as well, but Rakan has the tools to get out. If he can W and E flashes as well, and still dies to the red buff. Rakan has so many tools to get out, and it's just not enough. Has to use flash as well.
Could
And
power
now they
dive.
can dive Striker here. Kaisa ult is available, but there's just so much health on these divers. I don't think it matters.
But
Not
Vi's
even
here
able
in
to
the
get
area.
Flash. Vi is going to be able to Q in R as well. Might get one more, but at least picks up 1 for the dive. However, it still feels like it's a complete disaster. I believe the guy might be looking to maybe
Ooh, doesn't
pick
get
up the
in triple.
wave. But this top lane matchup looks a little bit more equalized now. As yeah, Might of Noxus isn't solo killing Vey Caution anytime soon, sure. But
looks
he
to
can at
be
least
just
farm the
a-
wave, which is a much. Oh wait, maybe he is actually no W here. The ultimate is available in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be a little interesting to see how that's going to work there. If Nox is going to jump in, might want to, but Buckle does come up, so has the shield. Oh, not
Oh,
hitting
that's
him
under
into the
tower
turret,
though.
though.
R button pressed as well. No W yet. And Caution has to walk away from this wave. Renata is up here though, because Grubs are spawning soon.
I don't think you're gonna feel too bad though. You're just gonna back here, TP back into lane, so it's not like you lost too much. You still have ultimate up very soon, and Nautilus did have to use his, so it's gonna be fine. It means you're safe for those tower engages for about another minute or so. So not gonna feel too bad. Looks like to be a roam actually here. A lane swap here. Looks like they're gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Pandora's gonna bring their one back, but
very similar to game one. We're gonna see 5 or 6,
Oh,
probably
but here
6
comes
Grubs
a-
this time. This dive attempt is kind of hard though, because it's Ari and there's not a wave. So even though the tram goes wide, they're really just making sure she stays honest. I think they're gonna go for dragon instead of the actual dive attempt.
yeah, but that is 6 grubs
Oh,
going.
teleport
over.
gets surrounded by
Ooh.
charm. That's really huge. Swedish does have ultimate available, and now these tower plates are just falling. Vi is trying to do some kind of damage control. Gets ulted and rooted in. Nocturne ult coming as well.
Ooh.
Mike is on a killing spree, and now the cross map play of dragon is just not available. Pulls in Caution meanwhile top lane to the tower. And sorry, I don't know why I moved to that top lane fight. It wasn't real. But what is real is the ability of Panda to get both 6 grubs and the second dragon. It'll be there first, obviously, but that's very powerful whenever you get 6 grubs and one of the 2 first dragons.
Okay, I will say Squigs has been sidestepping so well in these fights, right? Rutinum has not been able to get those Rakan knockups. Same with Swedish Pancake, sorry, being able to get those knockups. But here is going to be the feat of strength here, because that is going to be the 3rd epic monster going over. So Feats does go over to the side of Pandora, so they're going to be feeling pretty good, and some nice new shoes in their pockets here, especially when you have kind of that earlier game power of that Nocturne. Having some new boots to kind of have that little later play that they can do, it's going to feel pretty good.
Ooh, that feels bad. Noxus went for the Q. I'm not sure if he was okay with hitting a minion, but what he does hit is a Poppy W. Meanwhile, Kaisa engaging into a charm. I think it'll be fine though, because Swedish isn't gonna go for that while Kaisa obviously has support. Gets the Q off for Noxus. The W cooldown's just too long, but his health bar is just too low to really fight it out, so I don't know how he's gonna get out of this lane. I feel like that top tower is gonna be under a lot of pressure for the plates.
Yeah, that is a Yuntal's pickup as well for
W damage
Ash
is
and
huge.
Aurora. Aurora did.
Alt as well,
Ooh.
into the Q. Dodges the W2 kind of funnily.
But with that empowered recall because of the Sork shoes. Oh, Aerodactyl. Just going to walk it away.
So now Poppy just gets to kind of hit the tower for free. And I feel like this Nautilus pick has just not worked out. You flexed it, and what you got for yourself was a Rakan counter pick that has not worked out. And this top lane matchup where, you know, there's signs of life. Noxus did get solo kill, but it still feels really awkward as the gank comes in. Nice Q redirect. R can't be stopped.
Others in the area as well.
The R gets canceled from Nautilus as well. And that gank was really well played from both Elves and Noxus.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that Zelda wasn't able to get the assist here, right? So gonna lose a little bit. Zelda's they could jump onto Alps here. Yeah, it looks like they're pinging it really hard. Gonna try to go for this kill here.
Which is available here too as well. Nocturne ult comes out. Iroh is coming as well. Vi should be dead. Noxus still wants to come in though. I'm not sure if he's really thought this through though.
Does a flash though?
I mean, flashing just would be to death, right? So he will save his flash. He will not save his life or his jungler though. And I don't think the cross map play is there because Swedish Pancake still has ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, with that gold lead we saw in game 1, right at 19 minutes.
Oh, they might think it is?
Is
I mean, yeah, Rakan can
now
never
at
press R
14.
here.
Look how slow the turrets are being taken here, right? We do have 6 grubs, so the damage. Ooh.
I don't think this is
Okay,
real
be
because
careful.
R presses into R press. I mean, that's fair. Getting Ari ult is kind of nice, but it's.
But
a very low
the thing is,
cooldown.
Ariel is on such a low cooldown, or it's not going to feel too bad here. Vey is low though.
Yeah, I do feel
Love
like
to
this
back
Vey
away.
build is not to the tankiness you want yet. Ari ult's time's out. This is just not tanky, right? Vey Caution's in a lot of trouble here. Gets R'd on top of. There's no R button for Vey Caution either, so the last auto attack. Flashes for the buckler! Here comes the R now. Vi is going for this fight as Aurora gets knocked away. And Renata ult also saves over here, but Nautilus ult into the
Ooh.
Q flush from Alex
Double
flash in for
flash?
the W. But Renata
Did they
gets
get
a
out?
very key Q, and I think they're safe because Nautilus Q should only be up now, and into the wall will not be enough to chase.
Squigs is in the area
As
as well.
Squigs
They're,
is here too.
they're walking a
Actually,
little too far forward here.
This fear is real too. With the root into the fear, that Nautilus is dead.
This
Big
is just
caution
a-
in trouble again. He misses though. And it means that you get grounded by the W. Nocturne ult is coming in. There's no
Nocturne
movement
might be a little
ability
too
for
far
Aurora with
forward.
no
No, Vay's in
mana.
a horrible position.
Rakan has so much ability to engage here. Maybe Cleansa's very good. Vi ult comes out. They pick up. They caution. Flash up from Kaisa. Vi is still looking for something. Those two people are too low health. Squigs is trying to frontline by himself. It's working. He does pick up Vi. And at the end of the day, I think it was like 3 for 1. Just a lot of stuff going down.
I mean, I wouldn't be too pissed. Oh, good sidestep there. I wouldn't be too pissed off if I was Pandora there, right? Yeah, you gave over
There's
the
a
kill of
teleport.
Poppy, but I mean, you got
Nautilus
the
is
Nautilus, you got
way
the Vine,
behind
you got
them.
Ooh.
Charm comes out here on Aurora, who does not have ultimate yet. I don't think that matters, though. It looks like Ashe and Renata were able to appropriately walk away, though. So this teleport will be just trying to secure some lane advantage for these objectives coming up, with Rift Herald up already and Dragon available in 40 seconds.
I mean, I'm not feeling too bad if I was on Pandora, right? Getting that now 5k gold lead does have, of course, the 6 scrubs to be able to push. I mean, that mid lane turret should be going down pretty soon if Striker or if a Squid connects to get onto this, right? Should go down right now. And that's a two turret lead right there for the side of Pandora, and could even be 3 if Swedish wants to kind of push this. But Aerodactyl's pushing a little too far forward here.
Yeah, this is the second time I've seen this. Knockup comes in on Aerodactyl, but there's so many tools for Renata to be safe. Here comes the charm. Renata ult will only hit Vi. She doesn't care. Aurora ult is really good over the wall, is able to get out. No, it cuts out before she walks through. Ashe does go down, though. Here comes Vay Caution, has ultimate available after killing Vi and Aurora, or Rakan and Aurora, and they will just pick them all up with Dragon respawning. Fortunately, Might and Noxus just didn't have teleport. So whenever Vay Caution teleported in, even though the fight was kind of already difficult, once a Poppy's there, not matched by the Nautilus, it's super over.
Might of Noxus might want to try to jump in on here. Ooh. Misses.
But they just aren't able to get it. There is no ult though, but yeah, they're just not. Someone could walk up from Dragon Pit. It seems impossible to go
Herald
for this. As Vay Caution actually wants to go for it offensively. I'm not sure if this makes sense though. The R button does come out, knocking them both up into the Poppy. Ashe arrow is good though. There's still a Kaisa ult available. But are you really going to go in with Rakan? It looks like not yet. Kaisa ult still available, but I think this is way too deep if they go for it. Yet you're kind of feeling the desperation. Vay Caution has the ability to W. There's no Kaisa ult available whenever that happens. There it goes. Gets the shield to save himself. Alvis is in the middle of a lot of people, but those people are too low on health to turn. Squigs gets knocked up by Rakan. That's huge. Charm, however, prevents Aurora from finding Squigs. So the fight will be over.
I mean, it's not too bad of a trade. You got Dragon. I'm surprised they didn't actually try to rush Herald right afterwards, right? Herald is up for another about a minute or so before. Actually, no, Herald should be up for a little bit because the Baron is, of course, at 25 minutes now. But, I mean, I don't know how Aerodactyl keeps doing this, because we've seen this multiple games now where Aerodactyl just walks into no man's land, gets caught out, but somehow survives and is able to kind of have their team collapse on them on time. First game on Braum, but this on a more squishy Renata, and still survives.
Now, as we reset here, I believe the Herald is kind of one of those things where whenever no cooldowns are up, it kind of favors the fact that you've got a 6-0 Nocturne with 2 items. So, especially since his ult is available with Hexa. Oh, Fold in from Swedish, but it doesn't find anything. I don't think it matters though, right? Like, being down Ahri ult, who cares? You still have Nocturnal. This Rift Herald's theirs.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 turrets already down, so this Herald should be able to attack a tier 2 turret here. And there's just been no turrets on the side of... Ooh, maybe gets caught out here. Look at it, Aerodactyl
as well.
Another thing
this
as well.
This is a really good knock-up, but Rakan can always disengage. And it looks like he'll choose to do so, because Kaisa jumping in there isn't going to make sense.
Yeah, Squigs was able to get that ult onto the Kaisa, make sure she doesn't get to ult. But again, there's another one where Aerodactyl is being a straight-up ward, right?
Okay, this is a no Ahri ult. Charm does land, but I'm not sure it matters because after the Charm... No, not able to land the RW! Nocturnal ult is coming out available as well. And
Air Duck
Nocturne
here as
does
well.
so much damage. Fear means that Aurora cannot walk away. Rakan can only W away once. There's nothing
Great
to
handshake.
E2. So he will also go down. And even though Ruinous Otacon has spawned bot lane, I don't think they're going to make the same trade again, especially down their mid laner.
Yeah, ooh.
Does look like they want to make the cross map though. Kai'Sa's available. There's a Poppy ult, but I don't think it matters. Going in for the EQ. That will be a kill, but they're going to lose so much in the top lane for this.
Yeah, I mean, they probably should just go for that second turret as well. They see that 2 people are bot lane. They have 2 dead as well on their Aurora and Rakan. So, I mean, all you have is just the Vise. So, I mean, get this turret here.
Good wave
It's
clear.
beautiful.
Gets knocked up into the handshake though. There's a
Ouch,
Tron
die as
coming
well.
soon too as well. Has to flash. Rakan here to disengage. Renata ult also disengaging. So it looks like we'll trade Alvis flash to make sure the inhibitor doesn't go down.
And the Rift Herald also got another hit on the inhibitor. So, inhibitor's actually really low now. Looks like mid turret's trying to be taken. Ooh, doesn't get the charm onto Zelda though. So, not going to be too much. But they are
That's a good
in
cue.
chokehold right here.
There's a lot of CC coming out onto this Renata. Yes, she has the W, but how long can that really last? That's a shutdown for Nocturne. Sorry, I thought that was an Alvis for some
And
reason.
Vey is in a
That's
really
so much
horrible
more
position
important.
here.
This teleport's crazy. Poppy does have ultimate. Will find it. No, knocked up by Vi. And that means Vi can jump in onto someone. No flash though, so no knockup. Rakan will provide the knockup.
Oh, the comeback?
Aurora finds them as well. It looks like Squigs might be able to escape with his life, but that is a huge swing in people. They could get so many objectives with this bounty. I'm not sure that they can go for Otacon though, because
They're
of these
just gonna go for
teleports and the
tier
health
2
bars.
turret here. Doesn't feel too bad here. Should be able to also rotate up lane, maybe kind of push that top lane as well. That's another good bounty they can try to take before bounties go down very soon here. So I mean, what 7k gold leads now down at 4, and I mean that was just poor positioning by Mike. They got a little. The Nocturne got a little too cocky, tried to walk up into that choke point, but that knock up from the Rakan into so much CC that the side of Innerbots has just got the kill there and kind of slowly put him back in this game.
Ari's teleporting from base just to make sure this waves in and they can possibly pressure Otacon because Nautilus is showing top lane. Yes, it's teleport. Yet the resets have not come out from these people that just got shutdowns. They were objective shutdowns and kill shutdowns. I don't believe Vi has backed at this point.
I think she did. I think most of them did but oh, actually here could be a fight here. Great handshake though.
Alvis is coming in, doesn't have flashes, kind of in the middle of a lot of people, does get feared. Mike is going low though. Renato ult might save him. Zelda guy also going low. Nocturne ult coming in, gets 2, probably more. Mike is just, or Might of Noxus is just too late. He will also die after teleporting in, and that will be 3 for 0 for Pandora, right into both Otacon and their 3rd dragon spawn.
Yeah, I mean that's a great dragon there. And because Alice went down, Mike can just go in and take that dragon here solo. They're gonna take this turret as well and probably just go back into that Otacon. I don't think you really want to be pushing too hard, especially because it is a Rakan knockup and you only have 2 minions with you. So just back, get that dragon, help the dragon out with Mike. Should be able to get it solo, but just for the extra security and just go for that Otacon as well. Looks like that's what they'll be doing. And
yeah, Mike doesn't have teleport. So even though Zelda does have teleport, I don't think they can contest this Otacon.
It's going down way too fast, especially with that Ashe being able to come in. Has that vision down as well. So they will just take this Otacon. We'll just get all the blood roses that come out of this. Oh.
I don't think they can fight afterwards either, because there's just no teleport on Nautilus. Aurora teleporting late would be disastrous. They're going to look to make sure no one's, doing a lazy recall, but Pandora should be able to walk out.
Oh.
No, maybe a lazy recall, kind of. One gets canceled. But they gave up on the play, which I respect. I mean, again, there's no reason to believe that you would catch someone out there.
I mean, you're really having to hope that this Kai'Sa can then carry, right? Look at Striker being 4, 1, and 3, even though in this kind of not that good of a team or a position here. But
Nocturne ult is gonna find a top side play. Aurora does have tools to get out. No fear this time. So that will be the first Nocturne ult I've seen that doesn't turn into a massive play for Pandora Panda fighters. Which, 24 minutes into the game, not bad. I think there's been like 4 really effective snowballing Nocturne ults, and then that one which just got Aurora ult. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think Vey has to be really careful here. Does have the ultimate to knock up someone.
Oh, charms before the W can come out. Here comes the W now. Vi can hold this for a long time. Channeling gets 2 knocked out though, but the unstoppable Alvis timed that so well. and actually saving Striker because I believe the next power shot would have killed him.
But there goes Baron, though. Baron's about to go down. Baron is now spawned, and there's 4 members onto this Baron here. So we'll like to take this Baron. So a 1 kill and a tower for Baron. I mean, it is a bounty tower, but I think this Baron is going to feel pretty good, especially with the Grebs as well. All they have to do is push mid lane here, put 1 person top lane or bot lane, try to get that inhibitor turret or the inhib top lane or that inhibitor turret bot lane, and this Baron play is going to be feeling pretty good if Pandora can really capitalize on it.
Alright, look, I'm gonna take what I can get. That was a sexy dive. It was great. Yes, they have to give up everything, possibly the game for it, but you know, the art button was good. And at the same time, contesting the Baron would have been very difficult as well. Cross map plays are sometimes what you have to go for. It does feel very bad though, especially since I believe this Baron lasts right up into Dragon setup for Soul.
Yeah, now the thing is, you do have to take into account that the loser of this is completely out of the Crusaders tournament, and we will not be seeing them again, right? So there is a lot of pressure on the Interbots, right? They probably want to go against their sister team in that Crusaders finals in a couple of weeks, right? To have that rematch of Week 4 that did go to Phoenix 2-0, but with this, they're going to have to claw their way back from a 7K deficit to be able to just have another chance at a game 3 to be able to kind of even up the score if they can come back from this game and have to win the next game as well. So there is a lot of pressure, and it's going to be see, can they overcome that pressure or will they succumb to it?
I mean, it's not only a goal deficit this time. Oh, ultimate. I don't think they're going to go in on that. Mike is actually taking tower right now into the charm. And this is how it happens, right? Someone goes a little over aggressive. They do get the tower, but that's another shutdown going to Aurora. But what I was saying is that even though the gold, you know, a little bit more even, I guess, 7K deficit now, technically, a little bit better. I mean, look at the levels, too. Nocturne is level 16, which you can't see because he's dead, to level 13 Vi. Ari is level 17 to level 14 mid laner. This charm means that Minonoxus is going to take a ton of damage as the tower falls. Meanwhile, I think the Nautilus ult was committed so that way they could go in on mid, but they just can't find anything. And this level discrepancy is going to be a massive issue.
Yeah, again, now we have Dragon in a minute, right? So there it does most likely going to be Soul. It's going to be really hard for Interbot to be able to come back, especially because Mike will be back able to rotate over to that Dragon pit, right? That does spawn in 46 seconds now. So, and the thing is, because of the Baron buff, they have to really be careful. Ooh, they might be canceled here.
That's a huge Q pick. Yes, you can W cancel the Nautilus coming to you, but you can't cancel you coming to the Nautilus. R does find Vi, which is one way to get CC. There's another, though. There's another one as well with the knockup. They're not even going to use Ashhold. Redemption will be committed. Fake Caution is still going to fall, though, right as Soul spawns. And again, they did not lose an inhibitor during the Baron push, which will be falling off soon. This is the moment for no Interbots to come back in as Rakan flashes in. Ari cannot move. Will die.
4-man Berserker, though.
Teleport's coming in as well. Renato, it doesn't even matter because yes, Mike is going to be able to get 1 kill. Might escape, but even as he escapes, this surely will be the Dragon going over to no Interbots.
Yeah, this is definitely, again, if they have more fights like that, right? That look, Striker is 7, 1, and 4, so it's very strong. We'll get that second Dragon here as well. Again, as long as they can get these picks, because again, the problem with Pandora is they keep walking up too far. They're getting overconfident and they're giving over so much. I mean, now it's less than a 6K gold lead over to the side of Pandora. So, I mean, yeah, they're losing, but the thing is, this game is swaying to their side slowly but surely. So as long as they can get these fights, right, like that just happened there, I mean, they can definitely win this game and bring us to a game 3.
Another thing is that level gaps, you know, have a ceiling. Gold gaps do as well, technically. You can only have 6 items. That doesn't really get reached very often. I don't know that will here, but honestly, you know, the level cap's level 18. I like to think of it as level 16. There's still stats for level 17 and 18, but the level 3 ultimate is really the big power point for a lot of champions. Once this Aurora gets 1 more level, that level 3 ultimate will be available. And yes, Swedish will probably have 2 levels of stats over Aurora, but still, I think that will be a major point of, you know, being back somewhat in this game. Now, will Alvis hit level 16 this game anytime soon? I don't know. It's going to take a while. Unfortunately, junglers kind of don't get experience this late into the game.
Yeah,
But
and plus Mike already has level 16 as well, right? So he does have that
mhm.
busted ultimate, and of course, Squigs will be getting his level 16 as well very soon. So it's going to be a lot of Ash ultimates coming out in each of these fights, right? It's only going to be maybe a minute, maybe even 40-second cooldown for that Ash ultimate. So again, having picks onto Interbots are going to feel really good, right? Having that 4v5. So it really is. It just depends on how they want to be playing this game.
I will
And
say,
both
as a level 14 or 15 jungler, my heart always thinks whenever someone's like, hover me, and I'm like, okay, I guess there's a camp there. I'll hit 16 eventually, don't worry. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, again, I think that all. I mean, first off, this is a Baus play on the side of Poppy with being 4-8-2. Just seeing how many times very cautious has not been cautious at all, right? Has been just walking up to these fights, walking into this a jungle that.
Oh, we're not at W's key there. Because now they don't have to worry about face checking. Rakan actually face checking or getting the Renata, who will have to ultimate here, I believe. Gets knocked up before he can use it. Uses it now just on Might of Noxus. Meanwhile, Alvis
Squigs is getting hits in though.
and there's
Striker was
no
cursed out.
way Zelda is getting out. And I believe this fight is just a complete win for Pandora. Right as Baron spawns.
Yeah, actually, I have to give props to very cautious right there. Was able to get that two-man knockup onto the Rakan, onto Striker with that ultimate, pushing him back. So it just turned that fight into a 5v3, which they can clean up. Because again, if Striker is not in the fight, then the fight will go to the side of Pandora. But if Striker is there, it's going to be really 50-50. But with this Baron pick, they just have to start pushing it down lanes. Just to get a 1-3-1, a 1-4, 2-3, any combination like that, pushing down 2 lanes, and getting this mid turret right that's pretty low, getting this top inhibitor as well. Really having those super minions barrel down onto Interbot's
not
base,
the
getting this
pressure here,
dragon up
too.
as well.
It's a very common play pattern to Baron and then recall. But as you see here, they are still pushing it. They've got such a gold lead that losing out on that extra gold doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, they should be able to get mid turret
sure. Aurora's pretty good. The Q from Nautilus misses though. Ari dashes out. Poppy ult will get rid of Striker once again. And now it's Alvis in trouble. Is able to Q out as the top inhib goes down. Now these three are kind of in a weird spot where they're in the base. Spell shield's good.
But this should be
they can't run to this tower because this tower's so low. I don't know. There's no mini wave yet. I don't know how much it defends.
Might have knocked down though.
Gets cooked in, and Renata ult will find them all.
Watch Striker though. Watch Striker.
Striker is still alive. Ults into the double Nexus towers to make sure to kill Mike. But there's so many important targets still alive, and Striker's only at half health with no ultimate. Only has flash and cleanse to keep him alive. We'll have to go to the fountain as all 3 inhibitors will go down. I don't know that they can end here. Striker doesn't have much wave clear though. They caution, can zone out Striker pretty hard, gets the stun, has to cleanse and flash. However, there's not very many tools left. There's still 2 Nexus towers, 1 Nexus tower. They caution is dying pretty quickly. Ari cannot do anything but hit the tower. Now Ari has an ultimate available. Maybe a charm finds something. Is going to look for the Q. R times out. And so while they get 2 inhibitors and 1 Nexus tower, the game will continue.
They actually got both
Dexters, yeah.
But the thing is, they do have respawning Nexus, right? So the likelihood of a TP flank in is going to be very nil. I think Vay doesn't have enough damage on these turrets here. Isn't going to have enough on that Nexus, so we cannot have that TP flank. And of course, with season 15, Nexus turrets do respawn, so it's not lost. It's not all hope lost for the side of
Aerodactyl going to be caught here. They see that he's here.
I mean, it would be common for him too, but looks like they're just gonna start up this Baron or this dragon here. But all ults are here, but there's no Vay is still dead.
This is really risky. I don't know if Aurora can teleport in because the counter teleport is pretty hard. Mike is coming in. Boom! Renata ult is massive. Zanya's is good though. Rakan trying to stall out. If
you
Kaisa
have to kill Striker.
It's so big. Striker is still alive, but versus 4 people, there's no way that works. They get the soul. They have 4 people to 1. This series is absolutely done. As Poppy walks in to try to kill the Nexus, Zelda Kai can't do anything about it. Vay Caution can just walk up, auto attack, ground through, and, you know, make sure Zelda Guy knows that this game is over. Aurora will make sure that Zelda Guy doesn't die for it, I suppose. Just kidding. He will go down. as the Nexus will also go down, and Pandora Panda Fighters punch their ticket into the quarterfinals with a strong 2-0.
Yeah, that was really good play from Striker, being even in that 10K gold deficit, right? Still was able to bring out that 9, 2, and 5 performance, right? So it's going to be, I mean, even though we will have to say bye to Interbots, it was still a pretty good game, and being able to pick off them, they shouldn't feel too bad even with that loss.
It does feel like Pandora was able to start a game plan and make it work. We might not have seen much of it in game one due to issues, but
Mhm.
picking up 11 grubs out of the 12 in that series and getting almost every single tower available, and losing, I believe, like 4 in the entire series. So
Mhm.
grubs win games whenever you don't aren't able to stall it out. Now, were there some mistakes? Maybe very caution could be a little bit more cautious in recalls, maybe. But at the same time, I mean, just from beginning to end, the series felt like it was in the control of Pandora Panda Fighters. They had a game plan, they made it work, and they win 2-0.
Yeah. And Pandora really did come in as the underdogs in this game, but really showed up and coming, of course, getting that 2-0, being able to punch their tickets to the playoffs where they will play against
Syndicate
what's it?
Reds.
Syndicate Reds,
Yep.
who were the top player for the Sector 2. So we're going to be able to see if they can really bring it back and maybe even get go against the second tournament tournament favorites. I would say I still think that Phoenix are the tournament favorites, being pretty much undefeated here. But again, congratulations to the side of Pandora for being able to punch their tickets, and unfortunately, again, we will have to say bye to NO Interbots in this play-ins, and sadly, their tournament run has been cut short.
And you know what the exciting thing is for the viewers is that starting next week, we will be seeing best of 5 all throughout the rest of Crusader on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
So next week, it's not determined which game will be on stream, but I can tell you they all look exciting. And again, they will all be best of 5s.
Yep. So I hope that everyone had fun watching these games. Again, next week we'll be starting the playoffs. So of course you do want to be here to watch those games. So, but with that, again, everyone, thank you for coming here and watching the LXC with us on this pretty good Wednesday night, and we will see y'all next week. See ya.